So as I've been playing through ESO elsewhere, I've gotten towards the end of the main quest here, fighting siblings, undead, and mercenaries galore. However, I will say that the story is really picking up fast. Legit, it has gotten a lot better than I had ever expected, and now we are setting up to face off against an evil tyrant queen, but that's not even the end of this tale. And honestly, this story is pretty criminally underrated, in my opinion. So here's what happened. In our last episode, we were looking for a way to get into the Rimmon Palace. Queen Euraxia is causing all sorts of chaos and shenanigans, and it's time for her to be dealt with, before she ends up causing more mayhem and shenanigans.
Wait, that's illegal.
We speak to Anisha, who is basically the castle caretaker, but like retired. And he has the key to get into Rimmon, the master key. Problem is that we have quite a few obstacles to get through first before we can get in. Also, I fought a Minotaur, which for some reason was the beefiest big boy that I've ever fought in this game. I don't know why, but he was a tank. Well, we deal with it and then meet up with our team moving towards the castle. Abubu identifies Zamorak as a King's Claw, the elite guard for the royal family, and it turns out that Zamorak was the personal bodyguard for Chimera, the rightful queen of Rimmon. So now we have to trek through the sewers and crypts again to get back into the palace. Well, I'm tired of this, guys. Also, Tharn ends up getting pissy with us because we basically call him out for doing nothing but just telling us what to do. Legit, why do I have to do all the things? It's not like I'm the main character. Well, we meet up with Nala to take out some siege weapons as she dresses up like a guard and tricks some of the Euraxian soldiers to run off so that we can sneak in and deal with the siege weapons. And by sneaking, I mean literally obliterating every moving thing in this tower top. If it's alive, it's dead after I'm through it. Remember, you can still go through a stealth mission undetected if there's no one left alive to detect you. So I destroy the first siege set, and then Nala tries to convince the other guard to run, but he actually is a bit of a smart soldier and is like, oh, I gotta go talk to my captain. Nala gives him the extra breathing hole in his neck, and then we enter in. After destroying that second set, we get to watch Chimera get the last one in, and I actually really like her, because it isn't like she's just a normal princess queen who's just like straight royalty and kind of dainty. I mean, this cat's got claws. I realize how terrible that joke is, and I don't apologize. We enter into the sewers and then into the crypts to fight all sorts of zombies and weird little creatures, but we end up examining the royal crypts to find out that the necromancers took the king and queen's bodies and reanimated them. Not gonna lie, that's pretty dark, taking the husks of the queen's parents and then throwing them at us. Oh man. Well, we sprint through the castle, literally obliterating everyone and everything, with Captain Nala and Zamorak at our side, but then we are greeted by Foom in the head of the betrayer. And they just sit here on the other side of the bars and straight smack talk. That's all they've done since I've met them. Just straight smack talk. Trash talking about how we're gonna get torn to shred by your zombies. But like, y'all didn't even get through my shield aura. Like, you stood no chance. Well, they dip out to go and try to steal the essence from our friend Cadwell and suck it into the evil Cadwell, I guess, if that makes sense. Foom then says it's time for them to leave and make a deal with a more powerful master. It really sounds like they're just dropping Euraxia for some bigger, badder boss. And this kind of seems like they realize that this is a sinking ship and it's time to move. We walk out into the courtyard to confront Euraxia, only to hear that she is, in fact, getting dropped hotter than a plate of wasabi. Because the dragons and the necromancers don't have any need for her anymore. Euraxia then shoots a death bolt at Chimera, but what's funny is that it's literally the slowest moving orb I have ever seen. It was moving so slow that you would think that an assassin cat queen who was like super nimble could have dodged, or she could have moved, but no, we got to do it for plot armor because poor Nala had to jump in front and take the bolt to the chest. What the hell is this? Where's the cat-like reflexes, man? Tharn tries to take down his evil sister's shield while Euraxia marches out Chimera's murdered parents to kill us. And I mean, they got obliterated by me, and it's still going to be a terrible mental trip for this fledgling queen. I mean, that's just me pointing that out. That's got to be trippy. Well, after the zombies die here comes Euraxia. Well, it's been about like 12 hours, we'll say, of playtime for me to get to this piece of crap, so I hold nothing back. Like, perfect rotation, stand in every bit of fire so I can send that full DPS, boy! Anytime I fight a mage as a warrior character, it always feels like me chasing like an obnoxious kid who's just like being an asshole. But when you finally catch him, like then he starts crying and it's like, yeah, you pain. Anyway, I split her into two and now we have a lot to deal with. Tharn is a bit winded, but now we have dragons and necromancers working together for a higher power. Chimera just had to re-dead her parents, and Nala just got unalived in the span of about 5 minutes. Oof. So we convene back in the throne room, and we find out that Euraxia gave a final order, and it has something to do with the Moon Gate in the southwest. We meet up with Tharn, who's looking for some information on the last order that Euraxia gave, which is something that was going to appease the dragons. So now we have to dig through some papers, and apparently there's an assassin squad who is trying to kill the last dragon guard. The dragon guards apparently are the best at dealing with dragons. I have no idea from ESO lore, but okay, if you have a name like the Dragon Guard, you sound like a dragon hunter. Okay. Well, the assassins apparently went to the Sand Swirl Manor to collect a report on the Dragon Guard, but apparently Prefect Kalo, who was the captain of that garrison, didn't give it to them. We tell all this to Thorn, but the game glitches, and like, look at his hands. Like, the two got stuck mid-thriller. We start making our way southwest, but every time I can, as I'm leaving a city, I try to increase my riding skill. And it is starting to make me move faster, if only a little bit. I need to find a way to get into the manor, but I am greeted with the toughest thing in this whole game, which is lockpicks. I'm terrible at lockpicks. I will admit, like, I'm starting to identify how to deal with them, and I sometimes just feel like it's luck that I get inside. Well, I work through some of these Euraxian knights, but apparently Guard Captain Kalo, who is no longer in command because he refused to follow Euraxia's orders, is somewhere in the cellar. And we get the key to enter into the cellar, and then a boo-boo gives us, like, sass. I don't know why he was angry. We fight through this entire manor and find Prefect Kalo, who is the commander of the Sinus Irregulars. As I was playing through this, it's probably pronounced a little bit different, but I read it as the Sinus Irregulars. They got irregular sinuses. That's how I internalized it, and that's how we're moving on. Well, Euraxia wasn't even actually supposed to come to Rimmon for conquest. She was supposed to come here on business. She made a massive power play on this whole area because she wanted to be queen. What a bitch. Well, Prefect Kalo tells us to check out his information on Dragon Guard while he waits into the cell. Apparently, there is, in fact, a surviving Dragon Guard in the Stitches, which is here and elsewhere. We walk out to see both Tharn and Prefect Kalo just, like, standing here. Like, why did I have to do all the work for you guys just to be able to walk up? Also, how did Kalo get out of his cell? And why didn't he get out before now? Like, why did he wait? Something isn't sitting right with me here, with Kalo or a boo-boo. Like, I don't, something's up. I'm just saying. You can thank the Final Fantasy XIV community for making me very suspicious. Well, after a whole parkour session and dying because I missed the damn jump, we get to the Stitches and find Zamorak, who is ready to meet up with us. Apparently, Tharn sent him here, leaving Chimera unguarded, the queen unguarded. I really don't want to say that this doesn't sound like another coup, but this kind of sounds like another coup. Well, Zamorak is excited to kill this captain of assassins because she is the one who killed the king and queen originally. We find a hidden shrine and enter into it to hunt down and slaughter every living thing here. The assassins are working towards the Dragon Guard, but now they have my spicy ass to deal with too. It sounded cooler in my head. But anyway, we kill about 49 of these guys while delving through this giant maze, and it's actually really hilarious because I'm sure that these guys were having issues getting through here, and now here comes a Dragon Knight full flames and swinging swords just like tearing through. It's got to be terrifying for this guy. Well, we get to the Dragon Guard, and he is fighting Captain Solina, and she actually has a bunch of assassin abilities where she's like jumping around and teleporting. But I don't even bother, I just simply beat the hell out of her. Orland is wounded, the Dragon Guard is wounded in the process, and we talk to him as he's dying, and he says that he is not the last Dragon Guard, and that there is one who can stop the dragons, and we just need to blow his horn. Hold up! And that cannot be misconstrued. So as I've played ESO, I've tried my best to pay attention to the story in this game, especially as I've literally thrown myself into the entire universe as a blind play. And I'm trying to pick up everything that this game has to offer, but holy crap, this story is criminally underrated. The final takedown of the queen, only for it to be spun back around that we have to deal with Foom and the necromancers making a power play with dragons, and Mjolnir, or whatever the dragon's name is, isn't even the big bad leader himself. That's kind of like, oh crap, we were playing checkers while they were playing 4D chess. Again, that's another one that sounded better in my head. While it's satisfying to kill the Usurper Queen, it still isn't enough to stop all the cogs from rolling through and catapulting the story forward. It's actually really, really good. And I will say that I'm starting to get suspicious of Tharn, as he really seems to be like hiding something. And then of course, now with Prefect Kalo, who just seems like way too smart for his position. He seems like he's controlling more than what meets the eye. It really does make me question both of their motives. Now we are moving forward to have an end to Foom and the Dragon threat, but this is really good storytelling. I really enjoy this. If you want to catch up on my whole journey thus far in my first blind playthrough of ESO, you can click this playlist here. Otherwise, stay caffeinated, folks.